Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Bitch Up. How y'all bitches doing?
Hola, bonjour, buenos dias.
Lucy's practicing her Italian.
And I said nothing Italian. Buongiorno.
Oh, yes. Wait, how come you didn't say buongiorno? I thought that was a follow up to it. Well,
'Cause I
Lucy's
was doing the
practicing her.
song. You
Oh,
know that
yes. You
song, like,
always do that
hello,
song.
bonjour,
I actually
buenos
learned.
dias, good day, guten, konnichiwa, ciao, shalom, dobre dien. Hello to all the people of the world, or something like that.
I've never actually heard that song before. You're the one that put me on that song. Never before had I heard
Mhm.
it. Or at
Oh,
least
I
not that I
I learned it
registered it.
in elementary school, I think.
No.
But yeah hope you guys are doing fabulous. I am PMSing and I'm so tired. I fell asleep again right after work, and I told my brother to wake me up, like, at 6 so I could go run. There's been fires around here, so I was, like,
Oh.
checking to see if the air still smelled like fire. Last night, it smelled like that, and it didn't, so I'm like, "I think I could go on a run." Didn't end up going on a run. Your girl slept
So
in,
quality.
and yeah, I woke up, my mom woke me up at 8 asking me something, and I'm like, 6:15, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "How dare you call me and ask me questions when my mind no capta lo que está pasando," you know?
You're like, "I'm
Um,
asleep, I'm barely even waking up."
I honestly thought it was Friday. I was like, "Oh, it's Friday today," and I'm like, "Tomorrow, wait." And I'm like, "Yeah. No, we had meetings today. Yeah, it's Friday." And I'm like, "No, bitch, it's Wednesday." At least for now, where we're recording, it's Wednesday, and you still have 2
Mhm.
more days of work. And I'm like, "No."
It's so annoying. Sorry to bust your bubble that it was Wednesday. But at
Yeah.
least, that pretty much is like tomorrow's Thursday, and that means it's basically Friday. So hope that carries you through the next 2 days. I feel like I thought last week was my PMS week, but I don't know if it carried over into this week because sleeping schedule's off. I was bitchy this weekend to my boyfriend. So yeah, it was like a thing. And then I'm still feeling tired. So I don't know what's going on. But
For
anyway,
real. Do you have any bitch up moments or any recommendations for the people?
yeah.
This
Yes, I have a bitch at moment, and this is kind of a callback because it happened. So my bitch at moment was that I made a man's uncomfortable in a public space, and it was amazing.
Why? What did you do?
Okay, so here's the setting, right? I am in like a bar lounge kind of thing, right? And it's
Mhm.
like after hours, and I'm there with like a group of friends, and we're all in a section. So we're all like having our cocktails and having like our kiki. Everybody's like talking to each other, but like I'm specifically speaking to one of my friends right here, and we're engaged in pretty heavy conversation. Now there's
Mhm.
other people at the bar, like there's people in the atmosphere, the music was great, whatever. Everybody's vibing. And then all of a sudden, this older gentleman just literally inserts himself into my conversation with my friend. And I just look at him like, what are you doing? But not really telling him that. I just like give him a look. And
Mhm.
then, oh, I think he tries to say something like, oh, what's going on? Like, I guess to kind of like try to talk to us.
Yeah,
But first of
like,
all, it
what an
was just,
awkward slide in. "Okay, what's the 411? What is everybody
yeah,
talking
no,
about?"
and we were sitting down because we were in a section, and he's just like kind of towering over us, and it's just like ill, you know?
Mm.
And so then I just look at him and I'm like, oh, we're having a conversation. We're enjoying our conversation. That's what's going on. And then he just looks at me, and then I look back at my friend, and we just like, kind of carry on with our conversation. I guess he gets pissed off, and then he goes, fine, I'll let you guys enjoy your fucking espresso martinis. And I was like, excuse me, sir, it was a lemon drop martini. Get it together. And and then he just walks away. And I just look at my friend, and we're like, and it was just so much fun afterwards. It was so thrilling. I was just like, yeah, dude, get off of our space because no one invited you, didn't even
You're
made
like,
eye
"Oh,
contact
that's
with you.
if."
No, seriously, because I mean, we've we've been in those scenes before, and I know when people are trying to, like, talk to you or whatever, there
Mhm.
was never any eye contact between at least me and my friend with him for him to have felt compelled enough to, like, "Oh, let me go talk to them, let me go shoot my shot." He felt bold enough to come over, but first of all, he was, like, half drunk, so he already looked belligerent and annoying, and then I just didn't appreciate that he went in like, he didn't have the authority to do that, and I was just like, "Okay, who is this?" But anyways, it was fun to kinda piss him off, and essentially he fucked off.
You're like, "Was
And it
I
was such a
bitchy
and it was
or a bitch?" You're
yeah,
like,
and it
"You
was
were a
just
bitch."
it was so funny because it just happened so quick, and it was just a natural reaction, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like I was pissed off, and in the moment, I didn't feel I was rude, I kinda was just like, "Yeah, we're enjoying our own conversation," and then kinda just moved on, and then
Mhm.
I guess he was expecting more of an interaction, and then he got pissed off and left, and it was just fun that he got pissed off, yeah. So that was my bitch up moment that I got a
So
man
don't
angry. I'm
interrupt
just
Shelly
kidding.
when she's enjoying conversation and a lemon martini, like, that is just so fucked up.
Yeah, like, how
Leave
fucking dare
her
you?
alone.
Yeah. My body wasn't even turned to you, our bodies were turned to each other, like, there was
Like,
no
there was
signs
no
of, like
cues, nothing.
that's what I'm saying, there was no cues, there was no, like, social cues, there was no body language cues that I would think would ever compel someone to come over to us in that moment, like, they could've come
Yeah.
over to anybody else in our space. So, yeah, that was my bishop moment, and I forgot to tell you guys about it because I was very proud of it.
I guess mine's kind of on the same drift because I had gone to see The Devil Wears Prada opening weekend or a weekend
Mhm.
after, and I wanted to recommend it to you guys because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's a good sequel when you take into consideration, the success of sequels or just, how sequels usually are taken in or received, if you will,
Yeah.
in by the population. So I thought it was really good, and there was some interesting choices. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and there's a lot of great movies coming out. So again, recommend you guys to hit up the theater, even if it's by yourself.
So what are we talking about today?
So today, speaking of being a bitch, just kidding.
No,
um,
exactly. It's funny
we
how things work,
opted to
though.
do something a little bit more, I would say, on the cheerful end. I guess it depends. I know these past few episodes
I
have
think
been a little
something
bit more
more
on the
lighthearted.
serial. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we decided to do, or a little throwback to an episode we had done last season, and it was
Yes.
"Am I a bitch?" It's basically the same concept as "Am I an asshole?" or "Am I the asshole?" Where we
Mhm.
bring, certain scenarios and we kind of talk about it and discuss and determine whether you are or were not a bitch. So, would you like to start us off, Shelley? What scenarios have you
Yes.
brought for us today?
Yeah, no, I think Lucy said, let's keep it a little bit more lighthearted and also just, like, in our very, own brand of are we bitches or bitchy? So we thought it'd be fun to scour the internet. Also because I feel like I come across a lot of content, like, on TikTok or social media. So there's a couple things that I pinned that I was like, "Oh, this is funny.
I know when
I'm
you
curious
told
to
me, I
hear
was
your
like, I
thoughts."
haven't come across anything. So I was like, let me
Clearly,
look it
my algorithm is giving bitchy.
up.
Yours is probably giving wholesome and whimsical.
Literally
That's
right
why
now, yes.
that's
Oh,
why
because
you, like, had
we forgot
no
to
way
tell
of
you guys, we went to the Renaissance Fair this past weekend, and I guess that was a little bitch up moment from we got whimsy, in
Mhm,
general. So, yeah, my, algorithm right now has been mostly Renaissance Fair related things. And
mhm.
if you guys ever want or contemplating going to the Renaissance Fair, go. It's so much fun. You don't necessarily have to dress up or try too hard because everybody's like so nice and doing their
Everybody's
own
just
thing or,
vibing. Mhm.
just being in character. Huzzah. So yeah, recommend to go to the Renaissance Fair if you guys haven't tried it. But yeah, anyways, yeah, that's my
Yeah, I
algorithm
think
is
I really enjoyed what an immersive experience it was in the sense that
yes.
people really kind of commit to the bit, and then just all the different activities too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it's kid friendly.
We
So if you
tried
want to take your
mead.
kids, we
We
tried
tried
mead.
mead. I was, like, today years old when I realized what that was. I never had heard what mead was before. And apparently it's like this alcoholic beverage from, like, back in the day that was made up of, like, honey and I forgot what else, fermented
I think
honey
before even beer
and
existed,
flavor.
right? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the predecessor to beer, And it was pretty cool. Lucy got us some mango sorbet mead, and honestly, it had some pretty good hops. Like, we got a
It did.
little buzz.
I was buzzing. I was like, "Woo."
It
And
was
I was
definitely
burping.
giving
I
oh my
was
god,
way
yes,
too in
Lucy was
character.
so in
I was
character.
like,
It
"Oh
was
my god,
hilarious.
excuse me." I was like,
She
"Where's
would
the
just be,
rum?
like,
Where's the meat?"
pounding. She was literally pounding, and then she'd just be like, and I was just like, "Oh my god." It was so funny.
Huzzah!
Yeah, no, but it was good, it was fun, and it was definitely giving medieval times in the sense that, like, we're
The
eating
turkey
turkey
leg.
legs
Yeah.
with our hands and stuff, so yeah, like, again, it was a very immersive experience, and they had some pretty cool pop-up shops and, even the activities that they had,
Yeah, a
was
lot
a
of
lot of
fun
fun.
games. And if
Mhm.
you guys get to go check out the Washing Wenches. I think that's what they're called.
Mhm.
It's like this entertainment, but also the interactive show. They're so good. They're so funny. I was literally laughing so hard that my head started to
Yeah.
hurt. Like that's how hard I was laughing. I'm like, I need some electrolytes because this was so good. Definitely
Yeah.
recommend for you guys to do the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah, I feel like in another universe, Lucy and I would be, headlining that show,
Yeah.
and it
I'm
was a
like,
lot of
where
fun.
does one
Yeah.
apply for this role? Because I wanna
Yeah.
be a washing wench.
But yeah, it was so much fun, so definitely recommend it.
But anyways, back to our, am I a bitch algorithms. So stories did your algorithm bring to you?
Okay, so the first one
You're
that I
like, it's
had
actually a
was
personal experience. Just kidding.
no, I'll bring one of the TikTok ones first. Okay,
Okay.
so this one is she a bitch for this woman was at a gas station and she
Mhm.
recorded the whole encounter. She was at this gas station and this guy came up to her and basically was trying to holler at her, right? And then she was sort of kind of responded around the vein of, "Are you trying to pay for this gas?" And he's like, "No, like I don't work here. I'm trying to holler at you. Like, what's your name? My name is blah, whatever." And then and then she goes and then, what did she say her name was? She said her name was something, like, outlandish. It sounded like a stripper name, basically. I forgot what her name was, but it sounded like a
Mhm.
stripper name. And the guy was like, "Oh, like, quit playing." And and then she flips it on him. She's like, "That's my name." Like, let's say her name was Diamond. I don't know if it was Diamond. She's like, "That's
Yeah.
my name." She's like, "See, now you're getting disrespectful." He's like, "Oh, my bad." And it was so funny because she just, like, flipped everything on him. And then he was like, "No, like, I'm trying to talk to you, whatever." And she's like, "All right, then pay for this gas." And he's just like, "Well, can I get your number first or can I get your name first?" And he's like, "I already told you it's Diamond, this, that." And so she kind of like played him a little bit. And then she's like, "Well, do you not have it? Like, if you don't, then kind of just like step off." And he was just like, "Of course, like, yeah, I do. Don't you see my ride over there?" And I guess it was like a nice ride. And she's like, "All right then, like, put your money where your mouth is," kind of thing. So she basically led him on to have him fill up her gas tank with premium, and then and then she drove away. She drove away. Mind you, her name is not Diamond or whatever other fake name she gave him, and she just drove away. And she was like, "Thank ya. Bye. See you never."
Damn.
Is she a bitch for doing that?
I don't
I don't think
think
so.
she's a bitch, but I
She's
will
like,
say that was
"Bitchy." No, just
bitchy.
kidding.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I could
City
see
girls are
both
up.
sides.
Just
No, I
kidding.
can see both sides. I could see if someone is, like, trying to holler at you.
Mhm.
Um, I think I don't know if maybe that no, I was gonna say maybe that's her way of flirting, but then the fact that she drove off was like, "Oh, okay." So, I don't know, but at the same time, he didn't have to pay for her gas, so he kind of got, like he put himself in that situation kind of, but I don't necessarily agree with the actions. I think that
I
you
think
shouldn't necessarily ask someone to pay for your gas when you're just meeting when they're trying to get to know you, but maybe she clocked him and she's like, "This is just a fuck boy. He's not looking for anything serious, so I'm just gonna take advantage of that." And if she has that great of discernment, then good for her. Then I wouldn't necessarily say she's a bitch.
yeah, see, I think she saw an opportunity, and in this economy, I support women's rights and wrongs, you know? I do see where you're kinda like, "Oh, maybe it's, like, bitchy behavior," but like you said, he didn't have to pay for it. He wanted
Mhm.
to pay for it because he was trying to prove something to himself, I think. And that's what happened, and I'm sure it
Yeah, I
was a
mean,
living and learning lesson for him.
and this is why, yeah, I'm like, I guess in a way it's a test too, because guys stay falling over themselves because of their ego. Like,
That's what I'm
you
saying, he was
know,
trying to prove something to himself. So
yeah.
that's why I was like, hopefully it was a living and learning experience for him. Also, I like to think that he had that money to lose. and so he gave it away,
I mean, if he didn't, that was really irresponsible.
and again, who's responsible for that? Like, again, these are his own actions because he didn't have to.
Yeah. I would
I know
just deem her bitchy. But yeah, not a bitch, but definitely bitchy. I wouldn't see myself doing that, so that's why I'm kind of
I
basing it
got
off
a
of that.
I got a really good kick out of it. So I was just like, "That's amazing. You
I'm
go blame
sure. You're
Coco." No, yeah, I was like, "City girls are up. Good for her." Like I said, in this economy,
like,
can't
as a
fault
virgin
her.
who can't drive,
Yeah,
done.
it was completely no business or interest in the matter. I don't even know what
Exactly.
gas costs.
Yeah, you're like, as someone who doesn't even look out for gas stations, good for
Yes,
her.
exactly. Yeah, but anyways, I thought that was funny, and that was my
Yeah.
first one.
Well, mine's a little on the long end, but this is what I found. So the first story I have is of this girl. We'll call her Paola. So Paola started this new job position and she immediately hit it off with her coworker. We will call her Susan. It's weird because Paola explains how friendships with coworkers usually go for her. It starts off like fake and you're always telling each other how amazing your life is and how amazing your relationships are, and then eventually the curtain falls and they start being real with each other and how
Uh-huh.
miserable they actually are, according to Paola. Like, this is her experience, right? Paola states that Susan had initially told her that she was engaged and how her fiance is amazing and that she was really excited to meet him, right? Or not meet him, sorry, to marry. I don't know why I said meet him. She's like manifesting.
Right?
But eventually, the better that Paola and Susan got to know each other, Susan started to confide in Paola that she didn't really like her fiance physically. He isn't her type and that she wasn't attracted to him. But
Shit.
her family loves him. His family loves her. Apparently, they've been together for like 3 years. And she mentioned that her fiance will call him, I don't know, Brian or something, that he like treats her like a queen. And she even says, like, I am out of his league. But she feels that she hasn't let everything out of her system.
Huh.
And Paola's like, girl, if that's not a sign that you shouldn't be getting married, then I don't know what is.
That's
But
like 2 signs. Isn't
yeah,
physically attractive. She feels like she still, like, has things to do.
yeah.
She still has ground to cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But obviously, Susan is like, I know, but like, he's such an amazing guy. And it would be so dumb of me to let this man go because he's like perfect. But I still want to have fun. So then Paola proceeds to ask Susan what she was thinking of doing. And Susan says that she basically intends to have fun until she gets married. So she's like, once I am married, the fun is over. I'm off the streets. And
Shut
then
up.
yeah, she confesses that she's been cheating on Brian. She's been on Tinder, hooking up with exes, and even started hooking up with coworkers. And obviously, Paola's like, oh shit, like, I don't know
Yeah.
any of these people. So I only know what, like, Susan's told her, right? So, like,
Yeah.
obviously, Paola's like, this bitch is crazy, but whatever. She's not my friend. I don't know her outside of work. I don't hang out with her outside of work. I don't know him. I don't
She's
know
like,
her
"Not my
family.
clown, not my
Yeah.
circus."
She's like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm just offering an ear at this point, right? One day, Susan is like, oh my God, girl, I have some cheese, man. And Bao was like, spill. So Susan proceeds to tell Paola that she has been sleeping with Brian's best friend, whom we will call Freddie. And Paola's like, girl, now why would you go and do that, right? And basically, Susan is like,
Like,
well,
she's
this
just
is,
acting to get caught at this point, like, subconsciously, like, because 'cause she's been
yeah.
all over the place.
And she's like, so this is Brian's childhood best friend who is also married and has kids. And they all hang out together. Like, they go on trips together. They do a lot of
That is
couple things together, right?
crazy.
Susan then says that her and Freddie have always liked each other and that he is physically her type and that they finally got the courage to tell each other. So they made this pact that they would mess around until she got married. And I found this funny because then Paola's like, well, obviously, I'm starting to feel a type of way about Susan because clearly she's not a good person. I'm like, okay, girl, you need to work on your discernment, or I don't know what you need to work on because that's crazy if that's what it takes for you to like kind of get to that point. But, anyways, fast forward to the company picnic, and Susan brings her fiance. And Paola's like, damn, like, not you bringing your fiance to a place where you like practically messed
Scene of
around
the
with like
crime.
half the
Yeah.
company. Paola is actually the first person that Susan introduces Brian to, and Paola's like, feeling some kind of way because she's like, "I don't need to know this man. I'm not trying to put a face to a man who I know you are cheating on," right?
Yeah, it's getting played, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, they get to chatting, and Brian is basically like, "Oh my god, I've heard so much about you. I just wanna tell you how grateful I am that you're in my girl's life. She doesn't really have, like, friends. So when you guys hang out, I've noticed that she's so much happier." And obviously Paola's like, oof,
We
like,
don't hang out. No,
yeah, I don't hang out with her outside of work, but obviously she goes along with it. And she's like,
yeah.
"Yeah," she's like, "This motherfucking bitch is crazy," right?
She's
And
using her
so,
as like, "Oh, I'm going out with,
yeah, I'm gonna go out with my
Paola."
girl. Yeah. And then Paola's driving home after the company picnic and she gets an Instagram request from Brian. And Paola's like kind of confused because she's like, Brian didn't give me that creep vibes where he would, those guys that friend request you because they're like trying to holler. And so she texts Susan and is like, girl, just want to let you know that Brian sent me a friend request on Instagram. And Susan's like, yeah, I'm with him right now. And he asked if he could do that because he may have some questions. She's like, I don't have any sisters or friends. So he doesn't really have anyone to like ask things to. Paola is like, okay. And she gets home and she basically tells her man everything that's been going on and like tells him like the whole cheese mail like from beginning to end. And her man is like, why are you even cool with this girl? She's fucking
Yeah.
nuts. Yeah. And as they're
He's like,
discussing
"Is
this,
this behavior that you co-sign?" And that's he's like, "Should I be worried?"
and so as they're discussing this, Brian sends Paola a DM and he's like, "Hey, can I ask you something?" And now Paola doesn't open the message. She kind of just sees like the little notification on like the preview. And so she like, I'm not gonna deal with this right now. I'm gonna talk to Susan about it. So the next day, Paola tells her about the message, and Susan is like, yeah, he probably just has questions about the wedding or, stuff about me that, maybe some things that I may like. And then she basically asks Paola to be a part of her wedding. I don't know if that means like she asked her to be like a bridesmaid or whatever, but she's like, yeah, Brian basically encouraged me to ask you because, again, like I don't really have anyone and at this point, Paola's pregnant at this time. So she was like, girl, I don't even know if I can do all that. Like I'm at the end of my term. Like, I don't know if I'm going to have time to deal with all of that stuff. Right. And she really just doesn't want to be involved. So anyway, and I think at the time that she's telling the story, she is going on maternity leave literally the next day. So keep that in mind. Anyways, fast forward to like later in the day, Brian reaches out again and is like, can you please reply? I have something to ask you. So Paola opens the message and then he proceeds to be like, is it with him? And Paola obviously is like, "Oh, shit, like, I didn't even need to know what he was asking, like, I knew this man knows." So Paola tells her man and he's like, "You need to tell this man because that is fucked up." And Paola's like, "How am I supposed to tell him? It's none of my business." And he's like, "No, you need to tell him because that is so fucked up that you aren't
Yeah.
saying anything and you know this information." Paola replies like, "If you think that, then it's probably true." Y ahí lo dejó, right? So she's like in her
She's
head,
kind
she's
of
like,
like, "I will neither confirm nor deny this
yeah.
information, but also,
Yeah,
like,
she's
if you
like
have a hunch where there's smoke, there's fire.
exactly, and she's like,
Lo que se
"I'm"
ve no se pregunta."
exactly, and she's like, "I'm not gonna really tell him what I know, but I'm also not going to tell him, and also I'm going on maternity leave tomorrow or after tomorrow, so I don't really have to deal with, like, any of this." Right? So then the next day, the day that sh after that day, it's I think it's a Friday, she's gonna go to maternity leave once, the weekend hits.
Mhm.
She's shitting bricks a little bit because Susan hasn't, like, reached out since, like, she seems like she's fine at work, and at one point, Paola is contemplating if she should tell Susan that Brian messaged her, but again, she's like, "This person never tells me anything, she never tells me when she's, like, lying on my name, whatever," so,
She's kinda like,
eventually
"I
sh
don't owe her anything."
yeah, exactly, and she eventually notices that Susan goes to the bathroom and she takes some time to come back, but when she does come back, she seems, like she's been
Flustered or
crying and yeah,
oh.
so she just looks distraught, right? And then she comes to Paula and she's like, "Oh my god, Brian knows. I don't know how he knows. I don't know how he found out. I don't know who told him. Y obviously, Paola is, like, haciéndose mensa, right? Apparently, Brian texted both Susan and Freddie, and he sent them screenshots with proof of their affair, and he called off the wedding, obviously. So, Paola's like, "Oh, shit, no. What the fuck? Like, how did he find out?" And
Yeah.
again, she's like, "Not my circus, not my monkey," or was it, "Not my monkey, not my circus?" She's like, "I'm going on maternity leave tomorrow." And yeah, she's like, eventually, I don't think she ever talks to Susan again because, again, she went on maternity leave and she got a new job after that. So the question is she a bitch for technically telling Brian the truth?
I don't think she is.
I don't think she is, but I also question a lot of the details of this story because
Mhm.
she's basically putting it off as like, we're not friends. We don't hang out after work. We have nothing.
Yeah, you she's
There's
definitely
nothing.
trying to spin the narrative so that she feels like she's absolved in all of this.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, girl, the way you're telling things to me makes it seem like you guys had like a
You were in the
deeper
mix.
friendship than you're giving off, you know?
I feel like where she was, in the moments where you explained her that she said like, "Oh, I don't even like this isn't even my business." She didn't want to answer his questions and all this stuff.
It's the fact that you
It,
were
it
still trying to be loyal to a person you say you don't want anything to do with afterward. You know, that's where I'm like,
like if you entertained this relationship, whether you want to call it friendship, work friend, whatever, as long as you did, you involved yourself in this mess. And not that she's like necessarily responsible for anything, because I do agree like there's certain levels of she doesn't owe her or this man
or
anything.
Brian, anything. Yeah.
Right. But like I feel like if I were her, I would have and he's like directly asking me or telling him, I would have been like, I don't
Yeah.
know. That's
I
actually
think
because
for me,
I feel like at first I was like, I would want to say, yeah, she is. Like
mhm,
so I don't because then I'm thinking like, okay, then they're gonna get married and then she's gonna continue playing on his face, but it's also not my business. But then it is my business because I had made it so I know all this information that I didn't have to know. By then I'd feel some sort of obligation. But I feel it was smart of her to play dumb with Susan when Susan's life
yeah.
started crumbling down because she was pregnant. Because like God forbid Susan would have been like, you fucking bitch,
Yeah,
you know?
true. Some people are crazy. I think for me, what threw me off is that she still felt some sense of loyalty in a way to tell her, like, hey, like, he knows.
Mhm.
Like, he still felt
Yeah.
like, maybe I should tell her. And then she's like, nah, like, this person isn't that great. But I'm like, girl, I would question it. But I get it. If you're pregnant, like, you don't want to deal with certain types of drama. But at the same time, why would you align yourself with a person like that if you've learned that they're not that good of a person and whatnot? Like, what
Yes.
keeps you there? It's a
Other than the
coworker, right?
cheesemate, but the cheesemate got a little too hot to the point
Yeah.
where, like, "Oh, I don't wanna know this anymore because I do feel guilty."
'Cause I
Yeah.
get it. I'm like, if I have a coworker who tells me she's, like, consistently cheating on her man, but I don't know him, I'm like, yeah, it's none of my business. If I'm not hanging out with her outside of work and I don't know anybody, okay, cool. I don't know why you're telling me this, but obviously there's some sense of familiarity where you feel safe enough to tell me this information. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, is the friendship really that one-sided? You know what I mean? I do think what would I've done in this situation? I also think I probably would have been on the, "Oh, it's not my business," but I also feel like if I'm that involved in the friendship, then I can't deal with this. And I'm like, I don't know if I
You
would
would
feel
wanna put some
comfortable.
distance between
Yeah.
you and her before you knew more, or before things got deeper,
Yeah, or I've been
because then
like, "You know
I'd
what? I don't
feel
need to know what
yucky.
you're doing." Yeah, if I know your man, I don't need to know what you're doing because I don't necessarily agree with that, so don't tell me anything. I'd rather be ignorant. But at this if your man asks me, I probably would have done the same thing. Where there's a spark, there's fire, and that's all I would say.
Yeah, because I feel like I wouldn't have the heart to tell him if he was really that, like, good guy that what's her face was painting him and
Mhm.
taking advantage of him in that way, I would feel compelled to say something, or at least as she did it very so slightly, just
Yeah.
confirmed some of his but also, if he already had all this ammo, why did he need her to confirm it? But I guess that kinda goes to where he was under the impression that she was one of her best friends, so she would know this information, which she did, but according to her, she wasn't that close to her.
Yeah, I think obviously he knew, but he was more so in denial and he just needed confirmation from somebody else that doesn't owe him anything, doesn't owe him
Right.
loyalty. So then he's like, if this person who I just met is telling me that where there's spark, there's fire, then I need to come to the realization that it's actually happening and I need to
It's
know what to
over.
do. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And decide for myself if this is something that I want to ignore or keep going. And I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. If the best friend that I'm like, obviously they weren't that good of a friends, but I don't get people like that. If you're not, and I guess it's maybe a woman thing or, I'm aging and maybe that's the
Yeah.
type of thing, or you have a
That's
good guy and can't let him go because he's rare and you don't come across these type of men that often.
That's yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, as much as I hate men no, just kidding. And I guess that speaks more on the girl, right? That she was trying to hold on to him even though she wasn't sexually attracted to him. She obviously was not interested in being faithful or being in any sort of real partnership with this man. So it's
Mhm.
just like, why? But then that just goes to show that the relationship she was looking for was more of a provider and what that person can bring her over any emotional connection or physical connection. But oh, good luck to her now
Yeah,
that
I'm like,
she did
not a
all of that.
bitch for telling him, but a little bitchy for, I think, even maintaining that friendship. And then obviously Susan's just a bitch.
For sure. For sure,
Yeah.
a bitch. Well, that was
Yeah.
wild.
It
That
was a
was a
roller
good one.
coaster.
Yeah. And it just sucks because this stuff happens and, both sides do it.
Uh,
And it just sucks that people fall into that trap. Okay, so here's mine. I'm just going to read off of the thing because I'm saying it from his point of view. Because this time the bitch is a guy. No, just kidding. Or at least the person who's questioning it. Am I a bitch for telling my girlfriend her best friend has 2 years to find someone or we're moving ahead without that condition? And I was like, "Pardon? What condition? Also, what do you mean find someone?" So me, a 28-year-old male, and my girlfriend, who's a 28-year-old female, have been together for 3 years now, and I recently brought up the marriage and kids talk. My reason is pretty simple. I want to be fit and active while my kids are growing up. Like, if we have kids at 30, I'll be 48 when they turn 18, which still feels decent enough to actually be involved and active in their lives. So I wanted to start planning ahead. She said she also wants to get married and have kids, but she had one condition. She wants to get married around the same time as her best friend, not the same event necessarily, just the same season or time frame.
mhm.
Honestly, I found it cute at first. Here's where it gets complicated. I actually know her best friend personally, and she's genuinely terrible at relationships. I was like, okay, very judgmental. And he's like, and she's genuinely terrible at relationships, never lasted more than 6 months with anyone, and is currently single. But the bigger issue is her best friend doesn't even want to get married. So my girlfriend's whole plan is to first convince her that she wants marriage, then find her a guy, then hope that the guy proposes, then coordinate weddings. I was like, "You had me at coordinate weddings." Yeah. I told her I don't mind waiting, but I'm not comfortable with our future basically being in someone else's hands. She got upset, saying I don't respect the friendship. And I was like, "That's so cute." She said, "Fuck you, man." No, just kidding. She goes,
You're like,
"That I
is
don't
this really
respect."
about us? Just kidding.
No. So I said, fine, 2 years. If things fall into place, great. But I can't wait forever with no end in sight. He has like no hope for the friend. That's fucked up. That got her even more riled up. Am I a bitch or the asshole for putting a time frame on this? And then what I loved about this was that there was 3 different edits. So after he posted this, like things progressed and he kind of updated the people of what happened, right?
My initial response is no, because I agree that you shouldn't have to wait to live your life for a
Hmm.
person that I think has clearly made up their mind that that's not something they want for themselves at this
Or that
point.
they're prioritizing within the near future like
Yeah.
that.
So then
Yeah.
if I was him, I would ask my girlfriend, is there something that you are either
Yeah.
not ready for or you don't want to marry me? Because
Yeah.
I feel that if she
She's putting
truly
it on
was
the
like,
friend.
yeah, she's like, "Oh, yeah, it's because she hasn't found anybody," but I'm like, "Is it? Or do you just not feel like he's your person, and that's why you don't
Exactly.
wanna marry him yet?"
Mhm.
So, I wouldn't say, "No, he's not a bitch." I think that
I
he
agree.
he is right in what he is saying, but then also that would be my question. I think that he would need to have that conversation with her. I obviously, there's no, like, rush. I think when people are like, "I wanna be young and fit when I have
Yeah.
kids," I'm just like, "You just need to take care of yourself and you'll be fine." I don't get,
Yeah.
like, people's obsession with that, but sure, I guess.
It's the
You're
culture.
28, you're still
Yeah.
gonna does that mean that you are gonna get married, and then once you get married, you're gonna have try to have kids?
Right.
You're not taking into account, wanting to enjoy your marriage life. I think that that's also a little bit of a little red flag for me because
Right.
you should enjoy marriage life. Marriage life is a little different, once I'm assuming they may live together or may not live together, but either way, it's
Mhm.
a little different, right? You're like now 100% intertwining and all your shit is now one, right? So you guys have to contemplate and
There's definitely
live
a
your life
shift.
together, right? So in that aspect, there's a lot of things that you need to talk about and really take into consideration when it comes to getting married, being married, and then having kids and the realistic timeline of that. But yeah,
Uh,
those are my thoughts.
I agree that I feel like this isn't necessarily about the friend. I feel like there's something deeper there with the girlfriend that maybe he
Mhm.
needed to unpack. Why is she putting or shifting the blame on the friend? I thought that was funny. First of all, that it was a condition that she had in her
Mhm.
relationship, which is funny also because it's just like I guess that's how much she ride or dies for her friend and she wants to do this at the same time. But like to your point, I don't think it's fair to kind of put their timeline with her friend, especially if the friend hasn't necessarily expressed that she wants that, you know? And that's
Yeah.
okay if the friend doesn't want that or vice versa, you know, just like her trying to like live into this dream that's not even in alignment with what your friend wants. And then yeah, I think you're right. I thought it was funny that he's like, I'm trying to be an active parent and I need that means I need to have kids at this time.
I'm
It
like, as
reminds me of
opposed
when
to
I was
what? You're gonna be an active parent. I mean, I would hope he would be
you
an active
fucking
parent no
better.
matter what.
Yeah,
So he's like, "Yeah, so
exactly.
when they're 18, I'll be able to be more active in their." So you wouldn't be more active in their lives if it didn't fit your timeline. So that's what I was like,
Yeah, that's why I thought it was funny, and I laughed because I do remember being young, and by young I mean like in my teens and being like, if I have kids at 20, that means that by this age they're gonna be this, and that also went on my mind of like I wanted to be a young mom, I want to be a cool mom, and obviously that was before I knew better, and so I just thought it was funny that he said that because I agree why does it have to be a specific timeline? Like you can be healthy and active and present in your kid's life regardless of your age. At best, you want to focus more on your health and making sure that you can stay active at any age. You can stay
yeah,
healthy at any age. So it's just funny that he was so about the age, right? And also why he was so pressed on like, we need to make it happen 2 years. We can't give your friend 2 years. What if, like I was just like, let's
yeah.
relax there. It was funny. And it felt very much like he was like this idea of like we're gonna get married, like we've been together this long, and we're gonna get married, and we're gonna have kids, and it's just like those
Wait, did he
milestones. And
say how
because I,
long he's been with his girlfriend?
yeah, they've been
I
together
I'm
for 3 years. For
3
three
years.
years,
Okay. Okay, okay, okay,
yeah. So it very much also
okay.
felt like, oh, we're doing this because this is what we should do. This is what's
Mhm.
next, right?
Yeah.
I'm 28 years old. I've been with you for 3 years. What's the next best step for us? Let's get married. Let's have kids. And so, and like you said, maybe just stop for a second and realize, is this really what you
Something's
guys
off.
want?
Yeah.
I mean, is this really what she wants? Because why is she putting the condition that it has to be her friend, knowing good and goddamn well that her friend doesn't even want to get married, or that her
Yeah.
friend still needs to work on a couple of things before she can even get there? I felt like, okay, well, maybe there's some things you're not really paying attention to here. Maybe you need to have an honest conversation with her.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I agree that he was not a bitch for saying that. Maybe his delivery could have been a little bit better, but he honestly didn't sound that aggressive in his delivery to it, so whatever.
No, yeah.
But
I mean, because yeah, I get it. Like you said, we've all been there where we've had a timeline. I remember I was like, by the age of 25, I need to be in a serious relationship, be together for at least 2 years and get engaged, have a year engagement. And then by 30, start contemplating having kids. Your girl is 32, and
and she's like,
obviously
"And with no kids in sight."
no kids in sight, nothing. No, what is it? I have no, what's the one
Prospects?
from I have no prospects, nothing. So I forget what the Pride and
Oh,
Prejudice
she's
quote
like,
is.
I'm
I'm
28,
20s?
I have no
Yeah.
money, no prospects, and I'm scared. I'm already a burden to my family." Fucking
We're
love
not
that movie.
manifesting that, but yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, but that is,
So
so
but I
funny.
I guess you can say, yeah, so I would be like, what is the obsession well, yeah, what's the obsession with being a young parent? Why are you so hard on this timeline? Why is your girlfriend so hard on this condition? what's going on here? Because clearly there's some miscommunication happening and, like, you guys are
Or
not on the same page.
misalignment, yeah,
Yeah,
or,
you
like,
guys
you
are
guys
not,
both want different things, you know?
and if
Or
that's the
also,
case,
are you
maybe you
guys
should
just using each
contemplate.
other? For sure, reevaluate the relationship because it's like, is he just looking for someone to fulfill those milestones? And I guess it's you because we've been together for 3 years. What do we do next? We get married, we have kids, and, like, maybe she's not there or, like, maybe that's not her timeline because she's
Mhm.
trying to do it with somebody else. She doesn't even wanna have a kid with you, she wants to have
Or
a kid
she
with
has,
her
like,
friend.
others
Their
first.
goals, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 3 different edits, so I'll start with the first one. So after reading through all the comments, I decided to reach out to her best friend and I told her everything. And honestly, her friend found the whole thing just as ridiculous as you guys did and immediately went and talked to my girlfriend trying to knock some sense into her. Now my girlfriend is mad at both of us, LMAO. But hey, at least her friend and I are on the same page. We'll update if anything changes. Edit 2. Did not expect this to blow up like this, so here's a quick update. Girlfriend is currently giving me the silent treatment. But the wildest part, question mark, her best friend texted me again, apologizing for the collateral damage. She said she explicitly told my girlfriend to drop the ridiculous condition. Instead of listening, my girlfriend lost it on her and accused her of betraying their friendship, not supporting her dream and choosing a guy over our friendship or her friendship with her. So
Yeah.
now the two of them are fighting. After reading all your comments about codependency and projecting, the red flags are glaring. I'm taking a few days of space to seriously reevaluate this relationship. I don't think this is about a wedding anymore. We'll update if
Yeah.
anything changes. Edit 3. This is the last one. It's been a few hours since the last update. I had a long talk with my girlfriend earlier. She's still very upset and keeps saying that I don't understand how important her friendship is and that I'm forcing her to choose. Mm, a little less be honest. No, just kidding.
I was literally gonna say that. I was like, "Maybe she's lesbian." When we
Yeah.
were
Is she
talking, I was
like
like,
a
"Maybe."
lesbian?
Yeah, and she's like, "Are you, like, a lesbian?"
Maybe this is why the friends' relationships have also failed. No, I'm kidding. The best friend also messaged me again saying she is done trying to explain and is taking a step back from my girlfriend for now. Honestly,
Mm,
after everything that's happened in the last 2 days, okay, this has happened within two
that's
days.
crazy.
Everything. Yeah. I think I need more than just a few days of space. This whole situation has made me question a lot of things about our future. I will give one final update in a day or two after I clear my mind. Okay. And have not heard an update from him.
Ugh.
And let me see if oh, by the way, he posted this, like, within the past day. So
Oh.
hopefully we can get an update and I can give you guys an update
Yeah,
before, like,
let's look into
next
that.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely, obviously, we called it out. I think there's something deeper happening there. I think the
Yeah.
fact, I think it's interesting now to know that the friend had no idea that that's a condition that her friend had said. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It was so funny that you said, she's like, is she a lesbian? Because that was my first thought. I'm like, why would you be? I mean, I get it. Girlfriend friendships are important, but again, for you to like hold your life up to ensure that those conditions are being met and that you and your friend, um,
Yeah.
get married at the same time or whatever. I do think that might be a little bit unrealistic and unfair. So that's why I was like, do
To
you
all
have
parties
like
involved.
unrequited or some like deep love for your friend where it is maybe on the queer side? And maybe that's the case. And maybe that's
Yeah.
something that his girlfriend needs to figure out for herself. Or maybe there's just something that we don't know, or maybe that he doesn't even
Cause
know that why there's that need for codependency on her friend. Again, there's just maybe she hasn't or she can't communicate what exactly she wants, or maybe she feels pressured and she's like, "I
yeah.
feel like you're not
So
gonna
sh
understand why I wanna wait," and maybe she doesn't want the relationship to end, so now she's
mm,
being defensive about it because she doesn't know how to communicate that she doesn't wanna get married yet and wants to, like, live out their lives together for a little bit and hold off.
yeah.
Damn. So we'll definitely keep a tab on that.
Yeah, I'll
That's
have to keep an
interesting.
eye on that one. I don't think he's a bitch. I think the girlfriend might be a little bitchy.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's necessarily a bitch. I think she's a little bitchy, and I do think that she probably needs to do some self-reflection and figure out what's really going on here, and I think
Yeah.
he also needs to have an honest conversation with her as well and just see where do they go from here, because it definitely
Yeah.
does sound like they're not
They're
in a
not in
space where
simpatico.
they're not, and it sucks, but I mean, it's better for you to know now than before you continue with your life plans, sir.
Yeah. Definitely. And I mean, it sucks because now even her and her friend are having issues too, and her friend has had to take a step back from that too. That sucks that the friendship is also suffering, and I'm hoping that they can figure it out. And even the
Mhm.
friend can maybe be like, hey, what's going on? Is there something that maybe we need to work on too? Or is there something that you need help in that we can
Yeah.
support you in? So I'm glad that he's able to be like, we need to work things out. And I'm hoping that it doesn't seem like he's leading with ego. I'm hoping that that's not the
Mm-mm.
case, and
Mhm.
that he'll be a safe space for her to open up and really communicate what's going on, and that he understands and hopefully kind of lets go of the expectation or his little timeline. And if it's something that he can't let go of, then I mean, either way, he's going to have to let go of this timeline because if they break up, he's going to have to start all over again,
Yeah.
and this timeline is gone. So either
Yeah.
you
Ship
work
has
on the
sailed,
relationship
sir.
and let the timeline go, or you let the timeline go and you start over. Either way, you're losing the timeline. So
Yeah.
yeah, prioritize,
Maybe it's no, seriously. But yeah, good luck to them. And I think maybe this was a win for the online community that was kind of telling him, like, hey, dude, these are some red flags, caused a little bit of him to pause and reflect and realize, like, oh, this is deeper than something
Yeah.
so silly as this whole condition or this pregnancy pact. No, I'm kidding. But because that's what Lucy and
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, we have a pregnancy. You're like, "Speaking of packs," you're like, "Speaking of conditions." No, we don't have
Yeah.
conditions. We're like,
No, but we have
realistically,
joked
we've talked
around.
about it. Yeah, you're like, I feel
Yeah.
like we would have to if any one of us would have to get pregnant, the other one would have to get pregnant because 'cause you're like, we
One
would have to
of
go through
us.
this together. But also, like, realistically,
Yeah.
we know that that's probably not something that would potentially happen, and if it does, great, but if it doesn't, we're okay with
Mhm.
it, and we're not holding our lives up, you know?
It would be I yeah, it would be an ideal case scenario, but like Lucy said, we're not holding our breath or what
Yeah.
have you, but we do joke about that and it's fun. That's why I thought of it when I came across it. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is funny." Because
When
at
you
first
brought
I
that
was
up,
like, "Oh
I'm
my god,
like,
is this a play about us?"
that's why I said that. I was like, "Is this us?"
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like, "I'm
literally,
the
but
single
then it
friend."
and then it took a turn and I was like, "Oh shit, this is crazy,"
Yeah.
because there's something else going on here. But yeah, thank you for
Coming to
letting
our TED
me
Talk. Just kidding.
share that story. Do you have any more?
Yeah. I have another one. So I came across this story through the grapevine. So I couldn't find the original and therefore I had to make up
Mhm.
some details, but it captures the gist, right? So there is a woman, we will name her Brittany, and Brittany is the type of friend that you want to have, right? If you have a special event happening, she will show up. Baby shower, wedding, gender reveals, you name it, she will be there and she will always help out. Like for your birthday, for instance, she will pay for your birthday dinner. She will cover that, or she will put in money to cover your birthday dinner. And she always shows up with like a gift or, for whatever events. Basically, Brittany is turning 35 and she wants to do something big. She's kind of in the mindset that she may never get married or have kids because she's 35. So she's like, I figured I
She's
would
a
just go,
baby.
yeah, all out with my birthday and do like an international trip. So her expectation is for her friends to come on this huge international trip with her and celebrate her, obviously. I believe I think she had mentioned that she intended to cover a majority of the expenses. So I think the only thing would be that her friends just need to figure out how to get there, right? But everything else out of pocket.
She's kinda
So
hosting. Uh-huh.
exactly. I'm assuming she notified her friends with enough time to buy like airplane tickets and organize themselves to make this trip. And I'm also assuming that maybe one of her friends may have said that she can't go because, I have kids and you can't expect people to come to this trip to celebrate you because it's extravagant and whatnot. Flights are expensive, blah, blah, blah. So now Brittany feels like she is giving her friends enough time to make whatever arrangements they need so that they can make this trip. And again, she plans to pay out of pocket for a majority of the trip. So they just need to figure out a way to get there. And so the question is she a bitch for expecting her friends to attend her 35th birthday trip?
I don't think she is. Maybe she
Yeah.
has unrealistic expectations, but
See, I
I
don't
don't think
think
she
they're
is.
unrealistic expectations.
I don't,
I have
but
seen a similar situation where people have come from, like, both sides. They're like, "You can't expect people to drop bills on, like, bachelorette trips or, like, birthday
I've
trips,
heard that
especially if
too.
they're not, like, big milestone birthdays." But I'm like,
Mhm.
all birthdays are milestones. I'm like, "You are living another year." Like,
Yeah, we might
every
not be here next year. Yeah.
exactly. So I'm like, there's nothing wrong with people wanting to celebrate themselves and doing it big. And then I've seen people were like, well, what if she were to get married and actually have kids? Like now I'm like, so what? It's still another celebration. Like
Wow,
you
what a
can't,
hater. Like,
y-
you can't show up to your another of your friends' celebration because she has completed or she's
yeah.
in
So it's
this
like
new era of her life.
all of a
Like,
sudden,
oh,
well, I went
you're
to your
only
35th
allowed
birthday
2 big
party.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
exactly. I can't go to your wedding because I went to your 35th birthday party. And it's like, you know, and that's where I have, and I see both
it's like if I'm
sides.
like, "Sorry, Lucy, I can't go to your Jesus year birthday party because I already went to your 30th birthday, and it's
Yeah.
my
Or,
dad's birthday that weekend." No, just
yeah.
kidding. But, like, it's just like, what, are you only allowed certain big things? Like, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
and I'm like, I'm
Mind
assuming
you.
this is why also if you're telling them I get it if it was like a last minute thing, like, I get it.
Yes,
That's impossible,
same.
yes, especially if it's like a big like, if you're doing international, I'm assuming like a Europe trip or like somewhere over there, like Greece, I get that. I don't think I would be able to put that amount of money together that quickly. But if I'm telling you in advance, like a good, like, maybe 10 months at least, in advance for you to, like, figure it out, and you come back and tell me once I send that text I can't go because I have kids, then you're not even trying
You're
to make it
not.
happen. And that's where I would be like, I usually was the person that wouldn't really make a big deal about people not showing up for birthdays because I get it. But now I'm at a place where I'm like, you know what?
It
Like,
is a big deal. You
it
don't
is a big
ask for
deal.
much, and you're a great
Exactly.
friend, and it's the least thing people can do. Especially when you, for example, this whole dichotomy between women that have children and families per se versus
Yeah.
women that are single, and that's not necessarily what their life is like. It's not fair that, for example, I'm sure Brittany has been to the baby showers, the birthdays, the weddings, the all this stuff. Mind you, yeah, she's not having a baby shower. Yeah, she's not asking you to come to a wedding. She's not asking you to come to a bachelorette, whatever. She's asking you to come and celebrate her for a birthday milestone. And you're refusing to do that just because you have kids. She was there for you for all your milestones. Why can't you
Yeah.
reciprocate her? Even if you don't think it's that big of a deal, I think it's fucked up that you don't think it's that big of a deal. And I think Brittany needs to get herself some new friends.
Yeah, and I've seen people say you shouldn't keep tabs of the things that you do for your friends and expect that in
Yeah.
return. Like, it shouldn't be tit for tat, which I agree. I don't do
But
things to
you,
be tit for tat, but also I am a considerate friend. And if my friend is doing something big for her birthday and she's telling me with a good time in advance, I'm gonna try to make that happen. Like, I know shit happens last minute. Stuff happens, that's fine. But
yeah.
I'm going to make that attempt to go. I'm like, if she's covering the rest and I just have to get the ticket to get there,
Yeah, it's not like
sign me up.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If she's looking for friends, sign us up, like, we're
Yeah.
here and we're ready.
Well, you don't have to I'm like, "You want me to travel for your birthday to a place that potentially I've never been? Down." But I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I
think
also
it's
get if people are traveling with kids, like, yeah, it is a big deal traveling with kids. I know and I know sometimes parents are not made comfortable when they're flying because everybody looks at them like, "Calm down your kid," which I don't think is fair either. I'm like, "It's a child. What do you expect? The child's going to
yeah,
cry. The child's gonna get bored." So I think
right.
as people, we need to have just more grace towards parents who are traveling with their kids, and you also should be prepared to have crying kids in the plane. Bring your noise out headphones, something to relax, and just you don't have to hear it, right? So
Yeah.
what's that quote? "Everybody wants a village, but no one wants to be a villager," and I think that applies to both
Yeah.
ends. You guys expect people to be there for you and do all these things for you, but you guys don't wanna reciprocate and be there for your friend, and I'm not saying, like, oh, you need to if they buy you a, like, really expensive present, that you have to buy them a really expensive present, like, it doesn't work like that. It's just a matter of being thoughtful and being a good friend, like, "I'm going to make it
Yeah.
to your birthday party." If
I
that's
think
what you
the
really want, and if especially if birthdays are a big deal to your friend.
Yeah, I feel like if this woman is turning 35, it sounds like these friendships or the women or whomever she's inviting to this trip have been long-standing relationships that she wants to share in. So
Yeah,
the odds are is that she has been there for you in different ways. And again, I do expect a little bit of reciprocity, not necessarily in value, but in intention and in consideration.
mm,
And you would think that at this rate, if her friends weren't really giving her that, then she should have already kind of dropped them or distanced herself from those friendships and not have those expectations. Because I know
yeah,
that for me and friendships, one of the like the lessons that I learned was that, like, I can't expect people to show up in relationships the way I show up for them specifically because we're not the same person and people have different
Yeah.
capacities. People also have different things that they're going to, but that doesn't excuse certain behavior and it doesn't excuse disrespect to you and to your like relationship with your friend, right? And then the onus is on you on like, do you want to continue pursuing this relationship with this person if you know that they are not necessarily not able to or not capable, they are not willing to even rise to the occasion to try to be there for you in the way that or in the capacity that you need them or want them to.
I know some people would probably say like, "Oh, well, what if they don't have the money for it? Tickets are expensive, flight tickets are expensive." Yeah, that's valid. However, if there's a will, there's a way. You will save up. You have to save up at some point, put a
Or at
little
least
bit
you can
of
try. Yeah.
yeah, you can try to save up. I'm like I think I saw this another girl was like, "Oh, I think it's weird that people automatically say they can't go to my birthday party." And she was like, "I was talking to my mom, and she's like, you can't expect people to go to like extravagant events that you put up for your birthday. Like, it's unrealistic." And then she's like, "I see you guys going out to the bars almost every weekend. So if you guys have the money to spend every weekend at a bar, and I give you like this amount of time in advance, all that money probably could have been saved up to go to
Yeah.
my birthday trip." So if you put it in that way, I'm like, yeah, there's some things that you probably would have to, I guess, quote unquote
Yeah,
sacrifice,
you
right,
make
as a
some
friend.
concessions. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
and
fine because I know my end goal is gonna be I'm gonna get to celebrate and be in this trip with my friend.
yeah, and then some people are like, well, a baby shower is very different from a big international birthday trip.
Okay,
The
now you're
scale is
comparing
not scaling.
apples. Have you
Yeah.
seen how these baby showers are? I have to deal with your family. No, just kidding. I have to be a good host. I have to like, be helping you out. I have to be of service. No. I think that's messed up to be comparing it to apples to oranges because again, I feel like there's a level of disrespect or disregard in female friendships when one of them has a family and kids and the other one doesn't. And it's just like just because you don't have that going on doesn't mean that whatever is going on with your life, like for example, a birthday is any less
Important.
than important, yeah, and I'm not trying to say that, like, your life is more important than having kids, but I do think that there's a sort of backhanded compliment to be like, "Oh, well, an international trip for you is giving selfish versus, like, a baby shower that's for a baby." That's
Yeah,
debatable
or
because it's like,
even
first of
just
all,
like
I didn't choose to have kids. Why am I being punished for that? Like,
I think it's like the idea of it's like, well, I have a family, so obviously you don't get how busy and stressed and how much work I'm doing as a mom, and it's like
I do know,
just
that's
because
why I'm giving you an out. You're welcome. Like, come
yeah,
here,
exactly. I'm like, who doesn't want to
leave
travel?
your kids with your man, leave your kids with your baby dad, leave your kids with family. That's what they're for, to help you
Yeah,
out
and
in
I'm
these
assuming it
times.
wouldn't have been like a week trip. I'm assuming it would have been like a weekend trip. When I think international, it could have easily been like somewhere in Mexico,
Yeah.
somewhere Cabo, like a
Not
quick
just that,
3-day.
you could also make it so that you go at least for a couple of days. Like, I understand if maybe she's celebrating herself for a whole last week, you can't make it that long, but hey, I'm here for the weekend. I'm here for 3 to 4 days, you know? There's still some effort there in you participating and partaking in the celebration of her.
Yeah, and I guess that could also be another topic about female friendships and then childish and non-married people, right? Like the relationships there and the friendships and how they
And the
change once
dynamics.
people
Yeah.
have kids and they're married and they kind of start putting people or isolating them because they're like you wouldn't understand because you're not married or you wouldn't understand because you don't have kids. So it's like I have empathy, bro. I don't need to understand. But anyway, that's like a whole other conversation.
And now she's triggered. Just kidding.
As a childish, non-married person, I am triggered. No, just kidding.
I love that. As a childish, non-married
Childish.
person, you said childish, but you've
Sorry,
been
I meant
childless.
childless.
I know,
But
but
I am
honestly,
childish sometimes.
yeah, I was like, it is the same thing.
I'm like you're like, apples to apples."
Yeah,
You're
literally.
like, "I
That's so
am the
funny.
child. I just turned into adult. I'm literally in my
Well,
2nd year going into my 2nd year of adulthood, technically, according to
yeah,
science."
exactly. Well, this is why when she said that, like, I'm at when you started talking about this Brittany person and how she's like, I'm 35, I'm probably never gonna get married or not gonna have kids or because I'm already this age. I'm like, she's a child. What do you mean?
Yeah,
She's a teen. She's on her
yeah.
way.
But yeah, Brittany, find yourself
You
new
are not a
friends.
bitch. I don't think you're a bitch. I think may need to reevaluate your friendships, or that doesn't mean you need to cut them off per se, but maybe you need to create some distance because it sounds like you might be giving more than what you're getting. And again, it's not necessarily a matter
Or
of like,
rethink your
you
boundaries
give me,
too, like how much you give of
yes,
yourself to people.
yes, yes, exactly. And that's what I'm getting at because I don't want it to be like, we keep saying it's not about
Cut them
measuring
off. No, it's not about
tit for
dropping
tat.
friends like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, obviously, they're not in the same place as I am, which is fine, but, then I also just need to reevaluate how I show up for people and my expectations of that,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't work, then the friendships don't work, and sometimes that happens, friendships just naturally die out, and if it's only one person keeping it up, then maybe, you take
Yeah.
a step back, and if the friendship doesn't flourish after
Survive
that or it
that.
doesn't
Yeah.
continue because you took a step back, then I think that's your answer.
Yeah, and also if they don't go or if no one goes, you still have that trip and you have the best time with yourself and find yourself some foreign bays and have a great time, make friends out there, immerse yourself in the culture and the local people. Don't stop your fun bus just because people are not trying to join you. You can still have a
Or
lot of fun as a solo trip.
or just reach out to us, we'll definitely be down to go on
Yes,
trips.
DM us.
Yes, we're
Where
for
we can
hire.
make ourselves a yeah.
We're friends for
We're
hire.
friends for hire. Hire us, but yeah,
But yeah.
definitely not a bitch. I think your friends are bitches, but not you,
Yep,
and that's that.
that's my story.
The
I
great
think we
one.
have room for one more.
One more. Okay. Alright, so this is my next story. Am I a bitch for exposing my sister's fake infertility story with my ultrasound after she announced her pregnancy at my wedding and my mom gave her my toast? That was a lot too, and I was like, "Okay, what's going on here?" But it says, "My sister stood up during my wedding reception and announced she's pregnant, and my mom immediately grabbed the microphone from the DJ to make a toast about becoming a grandmother instead of saying one word about me or my husband. I watched my
Mhm.
mom's hand shake as she held that microphone, tears running down her face while she talked about how this was the best day of her life because she was finally going to be a grandma. My sister just sat there smiling at her table, one hand on her stomach, even though she couldn't be more than 6 weeks along. I was like, that's funny because she's like so pissed off and petty. The
She's
whole
like,
room
"She's not even showing."
she's not even fucking pregnant. She's not even showing. How do we know it's not like a fluke? And then she was like, the whole room was silent. My husband grabbed my hand under the table and I could feel how hard he was squeezing. My maid of honor tried to get the mic back from my mom, but literally my mom turned her back on her. She went on for almost 5 minutes about baby names and how she always dreamed of this moment and how my sister was giving her the greatest gift. She didn't say my name once, not once during my own wedding reception. When she finally finished, everyone did this awkward half clap, and my sister got up and hugged her. I just sat there in my wedding dress, watching my whole family crowd around at her table and to congratulate her. My aunt even brought her a glass of water and made sure she was sitting down okay. My husband asked if I wanted to leave. I told him no because we paid for this reception and I wasn't going anywhere. So we cut the cake by ourselves, basically did our first dance while half of the room was still gathered around my sister talking about babies. The next day, my mom called me and asked why I seemed off at the reception. I told her she hijacked my wedding to celebrate my sister's pregnancy and didn't even give a toast to me and my husband. She said I was being selfish and that family shares joy together. I asked her if she thought that the timing was appropriate and she said my sister was just so excited she couldn't wait, I guess, to tell people. I told her that's bullshit. My sister knew exactly what she was doing. She could have told the family literally any other day, but she chose my wedding. And my mom chose to make it about her instead of shutting it down. My mom got quiet and then said, your sister has always been sensitive about these things. This is really important to her. I said I didn't care and I hung up. I didn't talk to either of them for 2 months. My sister sent texts asking what my problem was, saying she thought I'd be happy for her. My mom sent long messages about how I was tearing the family apart over nothing. I blocked them both. Then I found out I was pregnant. We weren't trying, but we weren't preventing it either. And honestly, after the wedding disaster, it felt like the universe was trying to make it up to me. My husband was thrilled. We told his family and a few close friends, but I specifically didn't tell my side of the family because I knew what would happen. But my cousin, who I told, ended up mentioning it to her mom, and it got back to my mom within a week. My mom showed up at my house crying. She said she heard I was pregnant and didn't understand why I wouldn't tell her. I told her she made it very clear that at my wedding whose pregnancy she actually cared about. She started saying I was being cruel and that she loves me, and of course she cares. I asked her if she was planning to give a toast at my baby shower or if she'd wait for my sister to have another announcement to make. She didn't think that was funny. She left and I thought that was the end of it. But then my extended family started getting weird with me. My uncle called and said he heard about my situation and that he understood why I was lashing out. My other aunt sent this long text about how infertility is hard, but I shouldn't take it out on my sister. I called my cousin and asked what the hell was going on. She told me that my sister had been telling everybody that I'm struggling with infertility, and that's why I had cut her off after the wedding, that I was jealous of her pregnancy and having a breakdown about it. I was 6 months pregnant at that point, and very obviously showing. The lie was insane. I sent a group text to my entire extended family with a photo of my ultrasound and a due date and said, just so everyone knows, I'm not infertile. I'm pregnant and due in 3 months. My sister lied to you because I cut her off for announcing her pregnancy at my wedding reception and because my mom gave a toast to her instead of me and my husband. I'm done with both of them. My phone blew up. My sister called me 17 times. My mom sent voice messages screaming about how I humiliated them. Half of my family was apologizing. The other half was asking what really happened at the wedding. My sister sent one text that said, I'm your sister. You're supposed to forgive me. I replied, you're not invited to my baby shower. She lost it. She called me from my mom's phone and they were both crying, saying I can't exclude her from family events. I told them they excluded me from my own wedding reception, so now we're even. I hung up and blocked my mom's number too. The baby shower is next month. My husband's family is hosting it and it's going to be small and actually about us. My dad called and asked if he could come without my mom. I told him yes. But if she shows up, I'm calling the police for trespassing. He said he said he understood. My sister apparently had her baby 2 weeks ago. I know because my cousin sent me photos without asking if I wanted to see them. I deleted them. I don't care. She made her choice at my wedding and I made mine. But now my mom is sending emails saying I'm keeping her from both her grandchildren and that I'm destroying the family. My dad said she cries every day. Some of my relatives think I should just get over it for the sake of family peace. Am I being a bitch? Am I being too harsh? I was like,
Mhm.
"What?" There's a lot going on here too because
Yeah.
first of all, are you a middle child? No, I'm kidding. It
I
sounds like there was some stuff that has happened where she has felt that, like, the
like,
attention
there's some
wasn't on her,
there's definitely some animosity, like, past animosity there
past
because
trauma maybe or, like
if
yeah.
I would have heard this story before my mom became a grandma, I would have been like, "Yeah, her mom's doing too much." However, knowing what I know now about grandparents
Grandma
and
yeah,
becoming grandparents for the first time, it's a big
yeah,
deal, and
right,
so I don't think necessarily her mom's reaction was too much. Maybe, yes, there's a time and place, but I understand her excitement of becoming a grandmother for the first time. I
right.
I think genuinely that if the person who got married let's name the bride Molly. If Molly would have been come to her mom and tell her she was pregnant first, that her mom would have had the same reaction and probably done the same thing. But I understand, like, it's a wedding. I think that things could have been handled a little differently where,
Mhm.
okay, she did her speech. I think the sister I mean, if I was in that situation and my sister announced for the first time that she's pregnant, but maybe and that's why we're like the relationship there, like, there's something deeper than that because I feel like my reaction would have been excitement if my sister
Yeah,
announced that she's pregnant at my wedding. I feel like I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so exciting." And I think everybody would have been excited. My parents would have been excited. And sure, maybe there would have been a couple speeches here and there, but also like, okay, let's get back to business. Like we're here to celebrate us too, right? We're celebrating a lot. I think weddings, while yes, they're about the couple, you're celebrating love. And I do think that babies are involved in that as well. I wouldn't necessarily think it's a big deal, but I
mhm.
understand that maybe there's a lot of things that we don't know that goes into why Molly reacted the way she did towards her sister and towards her mom. I don't think it's right that maybe I didn't understand the infertility part because I
Well,
understood it as the sister said that Molly was feeling some type of way because she had infertility issues, not that she was infertile and she wasn't actually pregnant. So I don't know if there was just a misunderstanding there or maybe I didn't
no,
understand it
I
correctly.
the way I took it as was that, like, the sister to save face around the family and why all this drama was unfolding, she was like, she's just jealous. She's having a hard time with it because she's infertile and I'm
Mm,
pregnant. And so she's hating on the fact that I'm pregnant because she can't get pregnant. And that's why the other
oh.
sister was like, bitch, what the fuck? Why would you say that? Like, I'm pissed off. And that's she's like, and that's why she sent the message to the family to be like,
Yeah.
first of all, I'm not infertile. I'm pregnant. Read it and weep. Secondly, I'm pissed off because of this, because she made this announcement and like completely stole my wedding, basically. She and my mom both did this, apparently. And that's why she's upset.
Yeah. I
It's, yeah,
wouldn't
that's
say
where it
she's
got a
a
little
bitch,
convoluted.
but I do think that things have gone too
L-
far at this point. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, it happened at the wedding. Sure, your mom is excited." I honestly think that she needs to talk to her mom because I don't really think that her mom did much wrong. I think maybe the issue is that she's siding with the sister a little bit, but it's her daughter too. Like, I'm not gonna pick sides. I'm like, both my daughters are pregnant, close to each other. I'm gonna be a grandmother for
Yeah.
the first time, and I'm gonna get 2 kids, 2
Yeah.
grandkids within, like, a span of a couple months.
I think
I would be ecstatic too, so I get that whole aspect, but I'm like, the sister thing, there's clearly a lot of underlying issues
animosity
there,
there.
yeah, that need to be cleared up, and it's definitely more than what happened with the wedding. Should she have confided in her sister first and maybe told her like, "Hey, like, I'm pregnant. Do you mind if I, like, let people know? Because everybody's here, everybody's together, like, I wanna share the news," and maybe that would have been a little bit more respectful, but, I think Molly kinda just needs to I don't know. I think she kinda needs to let it go. I agree. I think that like, her saying, like, "Are you gonna make a speech at my baby shower?" It's like, yeah, she would make a speech at your baby shower and show how excited she would be that you're also pregnant. It's a big milestone for both of her daughters. I do think the mom would have been excited either way. There's just a
Yeah.
lot of things, obviously, that we don't know that
There's a
it's
lot of
more than just
underlying
that. Yeah.
family. Yeah. Family
Yeah.
trauma or
I'm
family
like,
hurt.
"Let's" and I'm like, "She's a little bitchy," but I'm like, "She's hormonal. It's okay. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
understandable."
That part too. I do
But I
think
get it.
it
It's like if my
was,
sister's being petty and she's like, "Oh, it's because she's infertile."
yeah, I
I'd
was
be
like,
like,
what a
"Oh,
fucking
okay,
bitch.
bitch." But at the same time, I'm like, "It's just pettiness, and you guys need to figure that shit out." But again, this is because
Yeah,
me
I
and my
guess
sister, we can be petty towards each other, but at the end of the day, I'm like, "That's my sister, and only I can be petty to her, and
you're like,
we'll
and I
figure
love that.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
love her." So I'm like, "Yeah, we'll be petty, but we'll figure it out. It's fine."
Yeah. I do think it was definitely inappropriate for the sister to have made that announcement at the wedding without first running it by her sister because it is her sister's wedding, right? I don't think it would have been like it I don't think it should have been a problem if she did. And if again, if she would have ran it through her, right? If
Mhm.
she allowed it. And if she didn't, I think that's fine. Like she should have respected her wishes, right? I do think
Yeah.
there's a reason why she didn't tell her because she knew her sister wasn't gonna go for it, and that's why she
Mhm.
kinda just went for it,
I'm
considering, like,
actually curious
what I'm reading from, like, their dynamic, right? I
I'm
do
actually
think
curious. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh,
You
no, go
take it,
ahead,
go ahead.
'cause I already lost my train of thought, so go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was wondering how the sister announced it. Was the sister making a speech? And then she's like, "By the way, I'm pregnant." Or did she just stand up in the middle of the room while her mom was giving a speech and was like, "I'm pregnant," and then the mom deviated?
I think she might have blurted it out because, I mean, as she tells it, the mom went and took the microphone from the
Okay.
DJ.
Yeah, true.
S
True,
Yeah.
true, true. So, yeah, so I'm like, "Oh, okay." I could see, like, I would want it to be a surprise for everybody too, but
Yeah.
also if I had my relationship with my sister is also close, so maybe I would have told my sister first and
Yeah,
then, talked about
and
it, but I also would probably
because
wouldn't have announced it at a wedding either. "No, it's fine. I don't need to." Especially if it's
yeah, it's not
early.
my
I think
moment.
yeah,
That too, she was like
yeah.
6 not even 6 weeks. That's why I do think it's
Mm,
a little suspect, and it maybe does speak to whatever relationship dynamics they
yeah,
have as sisters, like, maybe they're a little bit more those sisters that are in competition with each other. Maybe the mom played favoritism, or at least that's how the other girl felt it, so that's why she was like, "It was my moment," and she was completely jarred because here's another time when you just step in, take the limelight, and my mom completely forgets that she even has a second daughter because I agree. I do think her mom's reaction was very natural as a person who finds out that her daughter is going to have a kid and she's going to be a first time grandma. But for her to have completely disregarded the fact that they were still like they were there
at a
for the
wedding still
wedding
for her other
and
daughter, yeah.
and yeah, because there is space to celebrate both in that
Mhm,
space. Because having a baby, it's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing, especially if it's your sister. Like you said, because of how close you are with your sister, that would be something that you would be wanting to celebrate and share
yeah.
in the joy. So it's like I can certainly see that. That's how we would react to it. But in that moment, I would for sure feel some type of way for the attention to be diverted to that and then to just completely be disregarded in the fact that we're here to celebrate my wedding too. But it just sucks
Yeah,
too
but
that
then
she completely isolated herself in it instead of maybe just join the party and then bring the
yeah,
attention back to yourself. She completely victimized herself in it.
yeah,
And then she fell prey. She let that whole thing just ruin the rest of her night. And it does suck because there's so much planning, there's so much preparation, there's so much money that is invested in this. These are supposed to be lifetime memories. So then for
mhm,
you to have let that just dampen the mood and your experience,
yeah.
like that really sucks. And I really feel bad for her
Yeah,
that
because there was
she let
definitely a
that happen.
way to pivot. There was definitely a way to pivot. Because 'cause I'm like,
And
if I
then
was
maybe
like
after the wedding, be like, don't ever fucking do that again, because like I'm not going to let that shit fly. First, the fact that you thought that, no, just kidding. But the show must go on.
like, when did I'm like, "So do you guys not do speeches then?" Because if the mom just did a whole speech about then, I would have been like,
Well, that's the
"Okay,
whole
well,
part
now we're
where,
gonna do speeches with for the
well,
wedding and all
this,
that stuff."
well,
And
this,
if I was the bride, I would've been like, "Congratulations to my sister. I'm so grateful for everybody here that's
mhm.
here to celebrate not only us, but
Yeah,
now, a new family member. So happy for you, and I'm so happy that everybody was here for that moment. And
mhm.
now I would like to just talk about blah, blah, blah." Like, there was ways to, like,
She
pivot
could
this
have
back
turned it.
to
Yeah,
love and
I
make this
like.
just a
I do agree that it was fucked up that her sister did this on her day, and I can see how she felt shunned or whatever. But
mhm.
like, there was a way that she could have salvaged the situation. But this is
Yeah.
where I'm confused. Where she said like, her maid of honor, her bridesmaid, tried to take the mic from the mom, and she kind of turned her back on her. So the mom was just like running rampant with the mic. But again, at some point we should pivot back. She said that like the rest of the wedding, everything was about her and she just felt like she was just shunned again. And I think that's her own childhood trauma, or however she's felt she's maybe been neglected in her dynamics with her mom or her parents. And that's where she's
Yeah.
projecting in that moment. And that's why she feels so betrayed, which again sucks. I understand her being upset. I do think it got a little bit out of hand with all the blocking and the fact that she didn't want her mom to be part of her baby shower, didn't want to share the news with her mom in any way. That sucks because, like, I would want to share that with my mom and my sister. But I do think that there was, I mean, I don't know because she's telling it from her point of view, right? But I am curious as to whether the mom and the sister genuinely apologized for making her feel that way in her wedding. Like maybe it wasn't as appropriate, but they didn't think of it because it's something to celebrate. And why can't we all
Mhm.
celebrate? It's a family event at the end of the day. But at least for them to have acknowledged her feelings in the situation, if it would have gone over better,
Yeah.
or if she felt they were completely missing the point and they felt they did nothing wrong and not acknowledging her feelings in that moment. And that's why she's even more like, fuck you guys. I don't
Yeah.
want you guys near, and her putting a boundary, like, you guys are dead to me,
And
which is a little, yeah.
maybe this is because I've never been married, but I'm like, I don't really think there's a way that somebody can make something about them when you're the one who's getting married. Even if they are, let's say, someone did announce this, it's still your wedding. This is
That's
still
what I'm
something
saying. It sucks that
that
she allowed it to kind of to
yeah,
make her
I could
and she
see it if
kind of,
she took that chance and all the planning to do her gender reveal there. She's like, "You guys, I'm pregnant." And then, like, make that to me, that's making it about her, where they're
mhm.
like, "We're gonna do a gender reveal right now." And it's like, what is happening?
Or
That
like
I
when
would've
we've
been
talked
like,
about it, people that get engaged in other people's weddings, like that's also very tacky and very
no,
inconsiderate.
yeah, I would be like, but I think if someone were to do it at my wedding per se, I'd just be, "Okay, cool. It's still about
Well,
me, babes.
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
let
you
you
spin it
take."
back in the
Like, there's
block,
no way you
yeah.
could take attention away from me because it's my wedding, and that's why
Yeah,
that when people are like, "Oh, she wore white at the wedding," I'm like, "Well, I find it disrespectful. You're not gonna outshine me. It's my
n
motherfucking wedding. I'm the bride. So it
exactly,
doesn't matter
exactly.
what this bitch wore." You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah,
y'all need to
and you'll be
stop
damned.
letting Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with the whole mentality thing. You shouldn't have allowed that to dampen your mood, and you shouldn't have fallen into the victimization of it all, but
but that's why I
yeah.
feel, but then I do feel bad for her because then that's where I'm curious at, like, what has her growing up and her relationship dynamics with her parents and maybe even sister been that she has felt like it hit a chord with her. And it sounds like this might not be the first time that you feel this way, that you feel either not seen or that the attention's not on you or that like, maybe your mom favorites a different sibling. It just sucks because it like obviously hit her in all the wrong places and then it ruined her wedding to the point that that's why
Yeah.
she is just scorned.
But I
Um
think it's also interesting that even people around her, like her family members, didn't really know what happened at the wedding. I'm like, "Did you not go?" You guys not
Yeah,
there? Like, what's happening? Because 'Cause they're like, "What do you
yeah.
mean? What happened at the wedding?" So, maybe it wasn't as big of a deal as she's
Yeah.
making it to seem because clearly everybody's
Well,
like,
that's
"Wait, what
because it
happened
didn't
at the
because
wedding?"
because
You
it didn't
know?
happen to them, and, like, as we're saying, if my
Yeah.
sister made that kind of announcement, I wouldn't have flipped out like that, you
Yeah.
know? That's always just like, wow, what has happened? What is
Yeah.
really going on in there that really triggered you in that way? And that just sucks. And I do think at the end of the day, like it sounds like there's a lot of resentment and a lot of hurt
Mhm.
there. And I don't think anything is going to get resolved by her continuing to block them.
Yeah,
Um,
like, at this point, everybody just needs to have a conversation, air out all of the grievances, and if it's something that you guys wanna get past, you guys have to talk about it, and, yeah, the sister should probably apologize because maybe it is true, maybe the sister was having some infertility issues, but I do think it's fucked up to be like, "Oh, she's jealous," and use it as a way it is a low blow. It is a low blow as a sister to be
yeah.
like, "That's not cool. That's something that I talked to you and felt safe enough to talk to you about, and now you're using it against me to hurt me."
Well,
So,
that's what
I get that
questioned my
aspect.
motives
Mhm.
in her sister even sharing that at her wedding in the first place when, like, she said, like, "Oh, she's just
Mhm.
jealous of me." What's going on here? What kind of, like, sister on sister crime is going on here? But, I mean, we only know what she shared, and we can only speculate,
Well, what do you
and
guys
there's
think?
that.
Just kidding.
Yeah, what do you
Mm.
guys think?
They're like, "Everybody was not a bitch." And we're like, "Just a tad
Everybody was a
bitchy, but not a
bitch.
bitch." I think obviously everything's so nuanced, so it really just depends. And as we've discussed, there's just so many underlying things that we don't know that we can only speculate. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties, but I think we were talking about how everybody was not a bitch in this episode. Just a
Yeah,
tad
they
bitchy,
were
but not a
yeah,
bitch.
they were just human, you know?
Yeah,
They're just human trying to live life and make good decisions, and
navigate the
obviously,
world
we did have a couple people with ulterior motives or questionable motives. Just
for
kidding, but
sure. But if
yeah.
you guys have any stories that you guys would like to share with us and like would like to hear our opinions on, or if you guys
Yeah.
have some juicy gossip, let us know and we'll let you know if you're being a bitch or just bitchy.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening to the episode. I'm, like, curious to hear what your thoughts were on some of these stories and whether you guys think there was any bitchy
Yeah, if you guys
behavior or just bitch
disagree and you're like,
behavior.
no, they were all bitches
Um,
or this person was being a bitch, let us know and maybe we can discuss it further.
I was like, "Little bitch." Just
All right,
kidding.
guys.
Little bitch or big bitch? Just kidding. Alright, bye, everyone. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bitch.
Adios.